Hi, another day, another share with Phyllis. That's me. We're going to continue with our patchwork drafting lessons. The last series was with the 9 patch. I showed you how to draft it. I showed you how to make the templates. I showed you how to cut out your fabric, how to mark your sewing lines, and how to sew things together. This is the finished block. I just want to go over again on the order of sewing things together. I showed you that you would place all your pieces in the direction and in the order that you need to sew them in. So when you sew them, you would sew these two together, then these two, and then take those two and sew them together like I showed you. Then you take this piece and sew them together along this seam. And the same thing here, and so forth and so forth. So on. And then once you have all your units sewn together, you would start sewing them into rows. So you would take this unit and sew it to this unit, and then these 2 units to this, and then you have a row and place it back, and so forth and so forth. And then once you have your rows, you would sew this row to that row, these 2 rows to that, and then your block is completely finished. So this one was in the last series of the quilting of patchwork. Sorry, I'm stumbling today. I don't know why. So there you go. That is the 9 patch. We are going to move on to the 4 patch today, and I'm going to show you how to draft it. This is the 4 patch. This is the one we're going to draft, and the reason why, again, I chose this one was because when you put it together, you get a beautiful quilt like this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish that this is a 4 patch. It's got a patch here, patch here, patch here, patch here, 4 patches. With the 9 patch, there was 9 patches to do. So we're going to start drafting this one. You are going to need your your square 12 by 12 graph paper. You're going to need your drafting ruler. You are going to need your pencil, your lead pencil, and we are going to divide this in half this way. So we have 6 inches here and 6 inches here because we're working on a 12-inch block. So let's do that. There we go. And then we're going to divide it again in half. So this way we will have 4 squares. So that's how you divide up a 4 patch. Simple, simple, right? So then now we have to look at the individual units. So this would be a unit, this would be a unit, and so forth and so on. So I'm going to look at this. Now each unit is the same, they're just rotated. Okay, so we're going to look at this one here, and we're going to say, okay, well, we have 2 squares, an equilateral triangle, and a rectangle with a diagonal edge on it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to sew, mark or draw in these lines here. Those are the lines I'm going to draw in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from here to here. And don't forget, I have mentally divided this block into a 4 patch. So I know where my lines need to go. Okay, so there is one. And I'm going to draw this one to this. Again, I've mentally divided it in half in my head visually. So from there to there. Drafting's not hard. You just got to know what you're doing and be able to recognize the block so you can prep it with the first lines that you cut. So there we are. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this line. So that comes off of that point and it goes straight down to the other side. So now I have just divided this unit in half, equal halves, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we don't want to divide this one in half, but we need 2 squares. We're going to draw this line, so we need 2 squares. And I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Like that. And that's done. Now we're going to move over to this one. And this line, see, it rotates around. And then we're going to draw here. And then we're going to draw this one. I'm going to draw this. And then we're going to draw this one. And here. Now, like the last class, we are going to go ahead and choose our fabrics for this. So these are the fabrics I've been using, and I think I would like this one. Okay, this one is going to be where these are. And I think I'm going to go with, yeah, this one for this one for these. And these are backgrounds. Okay, so I'm going to go with the same background as I used for the last one. All right. So I have some small pieces here, because these are leftovers from another project I did. So I have some, oh, I might be able to use these little guys up. Okay, so I'm going to pull that. And now the next thing, so we've chosen our fabrics. So I'm going to put on this one here. I'm going to call this one Flower. Okay, and I'm going to go around, irons, because I'm going to need the irons soon, and I'm going to put flower on this one, and I'm going to put flower on this one, and I'm going to put flower on this one. I'm going to write pink here, because we're using a pink fabric, sorry. And this one is going to be pink. This one's going to be pink. This one's going to be pink. And this is going to be back, ground, back, ground, back, ground, back, ground, back, ground, back. Now the reason why I do this is so I have a map. I have made my decisions and I have written them down. Okay? And that's the reason why I do that. Okay, so we're finished with the fabric, and now we need to make our templates. So I have to switch over to a Sharpie, and right now we have these two squares are exactly the same size. So we have basically one square rectangle with a diagonal edge and an equilateral triangle. So we have three different pieces to cut out here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and get, is this big enough? No, it's not. So we're going to get the triangle in here. And don't forget to leave some don't forget to leave some pieces, some edges, so you can add your seam allowance, because don't forget, this is to size. So these markings that we have placed on this paper is actually to size. So we really want to make sure that when we make our templates, we've left enough around to be able to add seam allowance. So there we are. I'm going to go ahead and draw this line. Now I've put the dots in. I don't really need to, I just need to draw a line from dot to dot. It doesn't have to be lined up as long as the dots were placed properly. There we go. So there's the first one. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw around, adding the 1/4 inch now. You have to be accurate here. Okay. You have to be accurate. Okay. I'm not going to worry about this little, because that's excess fabric. It goes to a point. We don't need that much of a point, so I don't need to worry. And there we go. So there's the first one, and now we need a square. No, we need a rectangle. So I'm going to put a rectangle here, and again, dot, 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 and dot. So I have my dots in, and now I just have to connect the dots. I hope I left enough here. Making a bit of a mess with my there we go, and last one, last drawing on this one. Now we're going to go ahead and add the 1/4 inch. Probably didn't leave enough, but that's okay. Oh yeah, I did. Now we just need to get the square. So I'm just going to put the square here. We only need to make one square, even though we have 2 squares. They're the same size, so we only need one square. So I'm going to put a dot here, 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 and here. And now I'm going to just join the dots. All right, I need to add seam allowance to these. Now after this is all done and you've marked on all your template plastic pieces, you should write what template and what size block they were made for. So you won't get mixed up and think that they're for a 10-inch block when they're not, when they're actually for a 12-inch block. All right, so now I'm going to write the name of the block, And also you should write the name of the block in your margin of your patchwork. Suzanne. And what kind of block it is. It's a 4 patch. 4 patch. Oh. Patch. Okay. So that's marked there, and you also have to mark in here. So you're going to write the name. So you're going to write Susanna. It's a 4 patch for a 12-inch block. And you're going to write the same thing here. Susanna, 4 patch for a 12-inch block. Susanna, 4 patch for a 12-inch block. So there you go. All done. So, and then you just cut them out. And next lesson, we will start marking and cutting out our fabrics. So we'll see you next time, and have a nice day and happy quilting. Bye-bye.